This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 401 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we're going to be talking about the secret to crushing the odds of failure in entrepreneurship with Meredith Calloway. I am so excited about this interview. It was such a wonderful conversation to really be able to talk to someone regarding resilience and how to overcome some of the obstacles that we often actually create in our own minds. All right, y'all, let's dive in. Hi, Meredith. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. I am very excited about having this conversation about the secret to crushing the odds of failure in entrepreneurship. But before we jump into that, will you actually introduce yourself and your business to my listeners?
Absolutely. So I am Meredith Calloway. I recently married. So if you search me, you may have to search on Meredith Hill. That was my prior name. I am co-owner and chief visionary officer of Gifted Travel Network, which is a travel host agency. What that means is we host independent contractors who sell travel, and we have about 350 travel advisors in our network. And our focus is on selling luxury travel. And really, what we strive to do is offer an elevated experience for the luxury travel advisor. And a travel host agency is just a little bit comparable to or analogous to a real estate agency. And we're the umbrella organization that supports them, creates a whole real ecosystem for them to thrive in their business so they can focus on selling travel. And we focus on a lot of other aspects that will help them maximize their revenue, maximize their sales, and really just our mission is to help them build businesses and lives they love around their passion for travel.
Excellent. I love that. And the fact that it can be guided by passion is always a good thing.
Yes.
You obviously have been an entrepreneur for quite some time, especially running an agency where you oversee so many. So I'm sure you've dealt with many aspects of trying to overcome potential failure. So let's kind of just jump right in. What do you believe are the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face when trying to succeed in their ventures?
Yes. I would say it's fear. So, here it is. Here's the truth. The odds against you when you decide to take that entrepreneurial path are stacked. And but I truly believe the reason why they're stacked is because most people are looking for a silver bullet, and they're trying to, I feel like there's truly three engines to success in entrepreneurship. And most people are identifying one engine, and it is the least important. And they're putting all their eggs in that one basket of thinking, and the engine I'm talking about is a plan, as a path, is, like step one. I've been coaching travel advisors for over 15 years, and over and over again, they come to me and they say, Meredith, just give me the plan. Just what's the next step? Just give me that to-do list. I will follow it step by step. And really, the biggest reason why people don't succeed is because they're missing those two other engines. And the two other engines are emotional fitness or a success mindset, cultivating a success mindset. And the third engine is community. It's a solid foundation. And I guess community is part of solid foundation, but you need to have some kind of collaborative environment, because entrepreneurship can be a lonely journey, and we're not meant to do it alone. So I would say that honestly, the biggest challenges people face are, number one, going for, thinking that all they need is the plan or someone else to follow. Number two is not knowing how to cultivate, not even being aware of their mindset. Most of us bring an employee mindset to our journey because most of us have been employees. And I did it myself. My first 5 years as an entrepreneur, I had this employee mindset, and I was like, oh, maybe I need to change this. And then obviously not really find, like you said it in one of your Instagram posts about finding your tribe. And I love that. And I think that is honestly the third thing that people don't really realize is they need that kind of tribe. They need that community. They need that collaborative environment.
Yes, it's that ability to be able to hold you accountable and to
Yes.
also have somewhere where you can go and ask questions that is
Mhm.
reliable and going to have the correct information. I think too often we assume, oh, I'm going to go into a random Facebook group that's about a certain topic. And then it's like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The end of the world is happening. Google has changed their updates. Instagram is moving their algorithm. Oh, and by the way, TikTok is going to get banned. It's always this, oh my goodness, I don't know how to move forward. And it's almost, you end up scared in some of those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finding the right community and the right people, I think is
Yeah.
so key. So very, very
Yeah.
key.
It
Yes.
is very key. And it is why it is a huge part of our hosting service.
Mhm.
And I think it's one of the things that actually differentiates us from other travel hosts is so that when an advisor decides to host with us, not only are they getting the benefits of hosting the services a host provides, but they also know they're getting a collaborative community that they can lean into. We don't allow negativity in our community. It's positive only, and we don't believe in competition. And so that's kind of ironic if you think about it. All of our advisors in our network could see themselves as competition with each other, but we strip that out. We don't believe in competition. We believe that there's enough business for everybody, and we create a very collaborative environment.
Yes, that's the best way to possibly do it is having that
Yeah,
abundance mindset and not feeling like you're competing. I also do
yeah.
the same within my community. It is the same way that we approach things. And it goes
Mhm.
back to your positioning. How are you uniquely different than the person sitting next to you or the
Yep.
person on Instagram that's talking potentially about the same thing? It's that perspective that you bring and the voice that you bring that it's always going to set you apart and it's going to attract certain people. And other people repelled and they can go find the right person for them. So I love that you have that about your community. So I have to ask you, can you actually share some insights into why some entrepreneurs seem to consistently beat the odds of failure? You'll often hear people talk about some entrepreneurs and say, oh, it was luck, right? The timing was perfect.
Mhm.
What is your belief? Why do you feel that some always succeed?
I think that they have been, I honestly think it comes down to a mindset. Um, I love diving deep into researching some of these self-made, the most successful people in the US, that are self-made, completely self-made. They obviously aren't given any extra advantage. But what it really comes down to is a belief. They've figured out how to believe in something before they see it. To contrast that, I think one of the reasons why people don't have that consistent success is because they have something that I call what is itis.
Mhm.
And what that means is they are letting their observation of what is dictate how they feel and dictate their action because of how they feel about it. So, for example, you start your entrepreneurial journey, you take care of like all these amazing things, you're making progress, you're 9 months into it, maybe even 12 months into it, you've got a live website, you've got all of your assets, your branding assets established, you're excited, and you're like, but wait a minute, the phone's not ringing. What is going on? And that is what is itis. It's saying, I must be a failure because I don't have the phone ringing. And I think the most successful people that have consistently crushed the odds somehow figured out how to not look at what is and let that dictate their expectation of what's on the way.
So good. Yes. And I think that it can definitely hold you up. That's for sure. If you're constantly being fearful and feeling like I'm
Mhm.
not able to do this because I'm not necessarily seeing the results. And of course, we're not saying to continue to do something if it's not bringing you in any sort of prospects or any sort of
Right.
leads, but still always having that belief that you can continue to move forward. So
Mhm.
that I feel like goes right into my next question. Which is what role does resilience play in overcoming
Mhm.
obstacles and persevering through setbacks in entrepreneurship?
I believe resilience is the opposite of what is itis.
Mhm.
I believe that resilience is staying resourceful, even in the face of adversity. So here's an example that we would encounter, or my network would encounter. They have a client, they're in the midst of traveling and something happens. Like last summer, I'll never forget this. Rome was basically shutting down. The people had booked tours to really famous places and they were closed, and they had a heat wave that, and there's not a lot of air conditioning. And so we had a lot of advisors who were dealing with snafus on the
Mhm.
trip of their clients. Is it the advisor's fault? No, but they often will take it on and feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to fix this. But when you go into that panic mode of I have to fix it, that's not being resilient, right? That if you're letting their fear hijack you, that's not being resilient. Resilience is being able to stay present, stay in a helpful mode, solution oriented mode, even if you have someone on the other side of it who is freaking out and maybe taking it out on you.
Mhm.
The client that is very unhappy, and it's not your fault, but you're on the receiving end of their unhappiness. Resilience is honestly like, if you can cultivate the ability to be resilient in those situations, you will absolutely be successful. I have no doubt, no doubt. But resilience is also not something that you do overnight. Yeah, it's a practice. It's a muscle.
Hey there, guys. My name is Melanie from Mostly Under Control, and I am a member of Jenny's Influencer Entrepreneurs Insiders membership. I've been a part of it since 2017, and over these 6 years, I've taken full advantage of the weekly trainings that Jenny offers and the monthly group coaching. The group coaching is probably my favorite part of the membership. Jenny has taught me so many things for my business. She helped me niche down and write and teach about what I wanted so that I wouldn't burn out. In addition to what she teaches, the networking I've done with other members has been invaluable. I recommend her membership to all of my online business owner friends because it is worth every single penny.
Yes. Oh, it's like confidence. I always talk about that. That confidence
Yeah,
comes from practice, and it's not something that you're born with. It's something that you continue to grow over time. Yes. And I
right.
feel like resilience is too. It's that idea that if you're going to fail, you have to fail forward and actually
Mhm.
learn from the failure. Like you said, in that a specific situation, if they did start to panic, they're less likely to be able to be creative and find an alternative for those people that are very upset. I saw a lot of business owners that happened during COVID. Some of their businesses, especially my travel businesses, really took a hit. But the ones that got creative and focused in on, I'm going to create the content so when things open up, people are going to want to go and
Yeah.
I'm going to be that ultimate resource. Those are the people that have continued to succeed and their
Yes.
business have just probably 3 times what it was doing even prior to COVID.
Exactly. And that's what we're seeing too. That's exactly what we're seeing. And during the pandemic, yes, we were one of the hardest hit industries of all. And what we did for our network was we leaned in. We had more frequent Zoom. Like I think we did weekly Zoom calls for the entire network to keep them focused and their mind off of all the different things that could put their mind in a tailspin.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, there was just a lot of fear during the pandemic. And yeah, it was a hard time for travel advisors, but we just kept saying, and I think this is a key to developing resilience is finding frameworks or reframes, sorry, not frameworks, but reframes. And our reframe for all of them during the pandemic, we actually had two. The first was the comeback will be better than the setback. Comeback
Mhm.
is always better than the setback. And if this is the greatest setback the travel industry has ever seen, guess what? We're going to have the greatest comeback the travel industry has ever seen. And it absolutely happened. So that was reframe number one. Um, and reframe, now I forgot reframe number two.
You
Oh
were
yeah,
totally.
reframe number two was seasons. You know, there's seasons in life. There's also seasons in business. And guess what? The pandemic was just winter. It was a winter season. What do you do during winter? What does a farmer do? He fixes the equipment or she, right? Like there, the farmer doesn't sit around to do nothing during, well, actually some farmers travel during, but and the farmer doesn't sit around during winter, you know, crying his crying his eyes out because, you know, he's failed. He just understands it's the season. And, you know, I love the Bette Midler song, in the winter far beneath the snow lies a seed that with the sun's love begins to grow, or something like that. In the spring begins to grow. Yeah. Anyway, so those were our reframes. And I think that is an enormous key to developing resilience, is finding reframes that you can wrap your heart around, and you're like, okay, I can buy into that.
Yes. Oh, I love those. They're so good. So, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to increase their chances of success in a competitive market?
Hmm. I think competition is awesome. I think it makes you, um, it makes you get creative. It's an opportunity to develop confidence, like you said, develop resilience. So I would say the most, important thing one can do to be successful, I call it tuning. It's a mindset practice that I actually do myself every single day. Um, it's called tuning, and or another phrase I have for it is silver platter exercise. And so I say to my advisors, imagine that you're sitting on your bed, and on your nightstand is this lovely silver platter. And on the silver platter is everything that you want in your business that you don't have right now, whether it's a consistent stream of the most perfect clients and they're on their way to you, or you know, a fully chartered river cruise that it's all done, everything's done, you don't have to do anything else. And so once you identify what it is that you have on your silver platter, the exercise is for the next 5 minutes, just give yourself permission to bathe in the emotion of having it. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to actually have that success that you want? So many times without realizing it, as entrepreneurs, we are fear based and not heart based, or we're head based and not in our heart. And we need a ritual of, you know, taking that journey from head to heart every single day. And I think that tuning or silver platter exercise is one way to do it. Is the only reason in life why we want anything is because of how we will feel in the having of it. And what differentiates us as human beings from any other living thing on this planet is we have the ability to feel the way we want to feel without any condition changing. And that's where all of our power lies. And I think there's so much of a focus on do, and what action can I take? What action can I take? And what action can I take? And don't get me wrong, action is very, very important. But what's just as important, maybe even if not more important, is actually plugging in before you take action. And one of the best ways to plug in is to have some kind of a ritual like that gets you into your heart and out of your head.
Yes. It reminds me of visualization, but I love that you're saying to feel what that would feel like, because it does. It pulls in the heart and you can actually feel
it.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's all it takes is just feeling it. And what do you have to lose?
Right. Absolutely.
Except that you get to feel a little bit better 5 minutes a day.
Yes. So good. So you have a mindset blocks guide. Can you tell me a little bit about what they will learn from that?
Yeah. I truly believe that when you take the entrepreneurial journey, you're taking one heck of a personal development journey. And your fears, and I call it a drunk monkey. We all have a drunk monkey on our shoulder, and it is, as soon as you step outside that comfort zone, that drunk monkey is going to set off alarm bell and every single loud noise possible, and is going to scream at you every single doubt, every single fear, every single limiting belief you have, all of the stories that, whether you realize it or not, you continue to tell. And so, and there tends to be a theme with people, and not to be overly stereotypical, but I do believe that women have much more common beliefs, and men. Some men have the same, but that's what this is. It's the three most common mindset blocks that really stop people in their tracks when they decide to take the entrepreneurial journey, and how to reframe them and how to get past them.
I love it. So we are going to link to that actually in the show notes. And I love the fact that you talk about the drunk monkey. That is so hilarious and such a great visual. And it's probably something I'm going to start using within my community as well when we talk about mindset work, because it's so true. So good. Where else, Meredith, can my listeners connect with you, find out more about your services and what it is that you offer?
Absolutely. So our website is giftedtravelnetwork.com. And if anybody listening is curious about pursuing an entrepreneurial journey around a passion for travel, we have a program called the Travel MBA program. You can learn more about that just straight from the website or directly at getyourtravelmba.com. So we have a great program. It's a 12-month training program that you don't have to have any experience in planning travel, and we take you on that journey, and we accelerate a lot of what would normally happen for people in their first year if they were doing it alone.
Excellent. We're going to link to that as well. Meredith, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to speak with me and share your knowledge with my audience.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. If you haven't already gone and grabbed Meredith's mindset guide, you definitely want to do that. I loved her drunk monkey, and I definitely will be planning on using that inside my community. As you heard from the interview with Meredith, community is a huge part of being able to continue to grow your business, which is why I offer all of my listeners for my podcast 40% off of my Insiders program. The Insiders is that community where not only do you get the accountability as well as guidance and suggestions from others, but you're also getting weekly strategy calls as well as a monthly group coaching call. So if you haven't already joined in, definitely jump on that 40% off. As always, I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you all next time.